What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only, Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys so very much. Over 1,500 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. None of this would be possible without you guys, so I thank you so much. And yes, we're still dealing with pandemic life, pandemic living. And some of you out there are having some struggles and all kinds of stuff going on in your relationship. So I brought on the wonderful author, intimacy expert, and relationship coach, the beautiful Allana Pratt. Hey, Allana.
Oh, you're so kind. It's so great to be here. And yeah, there's a lot of intensity going on with people right now. Yeah, so thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. Oh, Allana, there's just so much craziness going on in our world today, in conjunction with, COVID stuff and family and work stuff. It's just, this is really the major test of a relationship.
Yeah, the big reveal.
Yes, but to start things off, Lana, how long have you actually been kind of coaching people through some of their life's decisions?
Yeah, well, I've been doing this for 20 years, and it started because I was a hot mess, and I needed help, and I had one divorce and then another one, and of course the only one in common was me, so I didn't want a third divorce, so I really looked at, I wasn't growing from the first one. I wasn't learning the lessons. I wasn't willing to take responsibility. I was having far too much fun blaming the other person, but when I really slowed down, there was an insecurity in me, like a heart wound, this seeking my happiness in another person, or making them responsible for my worth. Yeah. And that I had it all backwards. So I really had to learn how to become the one, to find the one, to keep the one.
Now, would you say that it is possible after a divorce to find love again?
Oh, hell yes. I'm sorry, can I say that?
You can, yes. We will label the show. We keep it real.
Absolutely. And in fact, you're probably going to find true love. I find a lot of our first relationships or marriages are very Disneyland-based. They're very fantasy-based. Like, you'll complete me, which is total BS.
Foolishness.
And they are really meant to reveal our blind spots. The places where we haven't healed anger, where we're still ashamed maybe of our sexuality, we're guilty, feeling guilty about really asking for our true desires, or having healthy boundaries. And so hopefully you're able to do the work within the relationship so it doesn't lead to divorce. Yeah. However, that requires that both people are willing to grow up, show up, face their fears, feel what they don't want to feel, and grow. And quite often, only one partner of the two are willing to do that. And so the divorce happens. So that doesn't mean it's a failure.
Right.
It means you learned, you grew, you're doing the work, and hopefully you lovingly invited that person to come along and grow with you. And if not, hopefully you came from a place of blessing and gratitude. Thank you for all that I learned. This is not moving in the direction I require, but I couldn't have got here without you. Thank you. I love you. I bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. See you in another lifetime. See ya.
Bye-bye.
I love that. And you said it perfectly. There's a couple things I want to touch on that you just said as far as like your first relationship or your first marriage or whatever. It's so fairy tale and la-di-da-di-da. And I'll even put myself out there. I'll put this out to the universe. I don't talk too much about my personal life here a lot, but my very first boyfriend, oh my gosh, it was just like, it was everything that a Disney fairy tale could enchant, right? It's just everything's perfect, and you guys are just perfect, and everything's just perfect, and then the bottom falls out from under it. And I remember feeling so broken and so less of a person, and just so like, oh my gosh, this person doesn't want to be with me. This is the end of life. And it really wasn't. I had to go through a lot of different stages of grief, because it was almost like I was grieving a death. It was weird. I didn't really think about it like that, but it was almost like grieving a death. And years and years later, I had, come through that miraculously and, met a really awesome guy, and, things didn't work out. But it showed me the growth that I had taken. And It really did. And I'll tell you this, during this pandemic, that first ex, he actually reached out to me and we reconnected. Wow. Yeah, we reconnected. And the sad part about it is he never grew. He was still that same childish person that he was previously, which is why we could never, ever be. And it just further on was confirmation to me that, I'm doing things right. I'm certainly doing things a lot better. So now that...
Thank you for sharing that, because to grow takes bravery and humility. And that is different than just, putting sprinkles on top of the ice cream cone of crap and pretending you're fine and doing that spiritual bypassing thing. No, I'm fine. I got this. But you haven't really faced anything, felt anything, or grown. So a lot of us can just get busy on Facebook or have a little addiction to porn on the side, or need to eat Haagen-Dazs at 3 a.m. and then the next day we're fake and we're fine and we move on. But we haven't sat in the fire and done the deep inner work, which is why I developed a dating app actually that has an intimacy training built into it, because my clients were just devastated. They're like, look, I do the work. I date somebody, and then that first tough conversation about sex, about money, about boundaries, and they're gone. They ditch me.
They're done.
They ghost me. Like, where are the people that can sit in the fire and do the work? And I said, well, they're in my program. They're in my group coaching program, but we need more of them. So that's why I've developed this app, so that there's a lot of people that go, you know what? The only thing in common with my failed relationships is me. Okay.
Exactly. You got to look introspectively at yourself and not want to always blame the other person. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Absolutely. And really what we want is a partner that is always going to grow. Who's always, like, it's a plant. You don't just water the plant once. Here they are, I've met the one, and then that's it. No. You got to fertilize that plant. Give it love. Give it sunshine. Give it a date night. Give it deep conversations. Give it a therapist or a counselor like me, and have sex night. Have naked night. Like, you've got to grow it. And that's not a weakness. That's called how you flourish and thrive.
Yes, a partner to grow with. I love that. I'm taking notes too, Allana. All right, so
Okay,
I still haven't gotten it quite figured out yet, but taking notes. No, that's right. It's like you want someone that's going to grow. That person emotionally, mentally should not be in the same place that they were previously. They should always level up. And in more times than none, heck, it's probably even better to say, if they're a few levels ahead of you, that's something for you to aspire to.
True. As long as they don't go into dad or mom or mentor role, they stay as lover, and they let somebody like me be the one that gives the advice. You got to be careful of giving unsolicited advice. However, you made a really good point. When we are half empty, it's sort of like that, you're my soulmate, you complete me, but we don't actually take full responsibility for ourselves, and we blame them for not making us happy. However, I'm calling my dating app Heart Mates, because it's a whole heart, 2 whole hearts, not perfect, but whole. I'm willing to take total responsibility for my happiness, and from the overflow, I'm a stand for your enlightenment. I'm a stand that you live your dreams. And I'm going to give from the overflow, which means I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to make sure I do my meditation. I'm going to make sure I do my girls' night or my guys' night. You're not responsible for my well-being. It's my choice to bring my best self into this relationship. So the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And then that's what humanity needs right now, consciousness needs right now, is these whole-mate, heart-mate couples. Because we're in a bit of a pickle. we need a little more love and light around here.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, Allana, we were talking before we started the recording and everything, and I was telling you that I actually have friends in a situation right now, married couple. They've been married for about 13 years. And the pandemic has not been easy on everyone. And it's been a bit of a struggle with working from home, childcare, things of that nature. Well, long story short, this couple has decided that they want to get a divorce, that they're not happy, that maybe they haven't been happy for a while. but they're living in dysfunction. And I've not said directly, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. But I've kind of hinted toward, maybe you guys need to look at possibly, separating lives at this point of the game. Just so there's not like a war every morning over cereal or who drank the last of the coffee.
Oh, dear.
So what advice would you offer to a couple that's going through it during pandemic?
Yeah. I would ask them to call me.
Yes.
I would ask them to sit, and the first question I would ask them is, what do you love about being so mean to each other? Because what they love is that they don't have to face their own fear of figuring out the money. They don't have to face their own overwhelm of how to split up and find another place to live. They don't have to be big and forgive and do the inner work. They don't have to move on and have the conversation with the rest of the community and family that we have decided to end our sacred contract. They don't have to do any of that big boy, big girl stuff.
Right.
They just get to be temper tantrum toddlers and project their dysfunction onto one another. So I would ask them, are you ready to grow up? Are you ready to do the capital R right thing and bless each other and stop spewing your anger on one another and be brave? And will you let me help you go through these tough milestones of the money and where do you live and how to communicate with each other from now on if they have kids. So you can consciously uncouple, how to have that conversation and explain to very often judgmental people. They're going to push their shame onto you that divorce is wrong. How can you communicate and say, hey, we had a good ride. We learned a lot. We've decided our sacred contract is over, and I wish them the best.
Right.
And have this practiced line you can give the world so you can open your heart and move forward rather than, fight over the cereal.
I will definitely give them your number, your website, the app, all that good stuff, because they need it.
And also to give them compassion. It's hard if you're all alone and the only person you can talk to all day is someone who you don't want to be with anymore. It's really hard. It's heavy. It spins in your mind. It's scary. But if you have a third party who doesn't judge, who shows you the gift in all of this and who's got your back, it's like you can exhale a bit and you can find your bravery and your courage and move forward.
Absolutely. Allana Pratt, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you. It's been a blessing. You dropping some little nuggets on us today. Let everyone know the best way to get in contact with you and, of course, to follow you on social media.
Thank you. So if you're single, I'd love you to check out heartmates.app. That's my dating app and intimacy training, all rolled into one. My website, allanapratt.com, has lots of free content and intimacy blind spots, assessment, connections to my YouTube channel, my podcast called Intimate Conversations, lots of resources there to love you. So thank you. Come on into my world and let me love you.
All right. I'm going to go download the app right now, Allana, while we're still talking. Just to get that set up. But absolutely.
Heartmates.app. Thank you. It's really how we become the one to find the one, which is what we need to keep the one.
Exactly it. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face. You tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.